Welcome friends to another r/entitled parents video. Today we've got a story of a Karen getting crazy for such a needless reason. Our first story is from Alice here. Karen nearly attacked me because of a shirt. So recently I, 30-year-old female, went on vacation. While on vacation I stopped at a couple of those wacky tourist shops. You know, the ones filled with crazy shot glasses and t-shirts. While in one of them, the cashier was wearing a shirt that said, "Not today, Karen." I told her I thought the shirt was funny, and then she tells me that they sell the shirt in the store. I of course rushed to buy one. Flash forward a couple of days and I'm back home from my vacation. I decided to go out for dinner instead of cooking, so I tossed on some clothes and headed to my favorite sushi place. I hadn't realized until I got there that I'd tossed on my new "Not Today, Karen" t-shirt. Honestly, I didn't think anything would happen cause, come on, it's a t-shirt. I was wrong. I go in, eat my fill of yummy sushi, and leave. As I'm heading to my car, I hear someone dramatically gasp in shock and then say loudly, "How dare you?" I turn to see what was going on, only to be met with a Karen marching right up to me, dragging her, I'd say 4-year-old looking daughter with her. She was the typical Karen, from her haircut to her overly priced, ill-fitting clothes. This bleach blonde menace gets right up in my face and starts shouting at me, "How dare you wear such an offensive shirt? That's a racist term. You might as well be wearing a shirt with the N-word on it." Mind you, she didn't say the N-word, but the actual word with a hard R. Her daughter started wailing because her mother was screaming, and I kinda think because every time I took a step back, trying to avoid the literal spit flying from her mouth, she would sharply step forward, jerking the kid with her. As soon as she noticed her daughter crying, she started screaming about how I'm scaring her with my offensive shirt. She just kept going on, getting louder with every word. "You should be ashamed of yourself." She jabbed her finger at me and started shouting about how people like me should be arrested for a hate crime. I rolled my eyes and turned to leave. I was full of sushi and honestly couldn't care less about her BS. I barely took a step forward when I was shoved from behind and nearly fell over. "Don't you dare walk away from me, you witch." I readjusted myself, walked up in her face, and said calmly, "Touch me again and see what happens." She backed up and started shouting about how dare I threaten her and her daughter. I said she's the one who shoved me, and if she tried that again, she'd regret it. She starts screaming about how I assaulted her and her daughter. "Someone call the police." Apparently, Karen didn't know that the sushi shop I was in is a local favorite of the police. There were 12 officers in there eating, and all 12 of them witnessed the whole thing. I'm also a bit buddy-buddy with the police that frequent the sushi place because one of my close family friends is an officer, and he always talked to me like I was his kid. I also, whenever I go there, usually help pay for their meals as a thank you for their service. 6 of the 12 in there know me and came out. As soon as Karen saw them, she ran up to them, again dragging her poor wailing child with her, and said I had assaulted her and was calling her horrible, racist terms. The one cop, I'll call her Marge, walks over to me and asked me what started it. Marge and I go way back. Her training officer was my family friend, and the two were as close of friends as he was with my family. I told her what happened and had to explain the whole Karen joke with her. She laughed, told me I could go and that she'd handle it. I thanked her and turned to leave. As soon as Karen noticed I was leaving, she screamed louder saying, "How dare you let that witch get away with a hate crime?" I left without any more fuss. Not sure what happened to Karen. I'm sure the next time I see Marge, she'll let me know. Can't believe I got attacked by a Karen over a shirt. Do you guys think what the Karen was doing here was grade A projection? Just immediately calling it a racist term and then using racist terms themselves? Do you think that was just a bit of how the Karen actually feels, projecting out? Let me know in the comments down below. By the way, if you're enjoying these stories, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below so you never miss any of my daily videos. Our next story is from ULFR. You do need to be physically present when your daughter is swimming in the pool. A very good friend of mine recently got on a plane with her 3 boys, 8, 9, and 10, by herself to visit with grandma for a month over summer vacation. I was on transport duty because driving to and from the airport is a young man's game, and also I love spending time with my homies. There was an accidentally on purpose scheduling issue, namely, my friend wanted a day in a hotel to recuperate from the flight with her 3 boys before her mom starts driving her insane. Husband's coming up in a few weeks because he just started a new job and can't just be like, back in a month. So I snatch all 4 people and luggage from the airport and give them a lift to the hotel. All 3 boys are bouncing off the walls and my friend just needs a nap. So, hotel pool time. She's posted up under an umbrella and is dead to the world. I'm in the pool with the boys. We started off playing Marco Polo and then had to get creative once other folks were in the pool as well. Eventually we settled on a game called Not Done Yet. Basically, I'm standing on one side of the steps out of the pool, and when the boys feel like it, they try and leave the pool. I decide if they're done or not yet using a complicated examination process that amounts to picking the kid up, giving them a bit of a shake, faking a big sniff, say, "Not done yet," and yeet them back into the pool. Obviously, if someone's waterlogged or actually wants out, I won't stop them, but typically there's giggling and a bit of a cue for inspection, so the game continues. I get a workout, they get tired out, everybody wins. Then a new player enters the playing field in the form of a very sweet-looking girl, approximately 6 years old, wearing water wings. She asks if she can play too. I say of course she can, but she needs to ask whoever's watching her first so I know it's okay with everyone. She says okay and exits the pool. I'm keeping an eye on where she's going so I can smile and give the "I'm not a creep" wave to whoever's minding the kid. Only she doesn't run to one of the adults on the lounge chairs, she runs back into the hotel dripping wet. She disappears inside and comes back down about 5 minutes later and says, "Mommy says it's okay." Only she's not the type of kid who lies without batting an eye and is obviously fibbing. I ask if she really did and the little girl says, well, Mommy was busy so I think it's okay." It's at this point that the proverbial record scratches and my inner monologue says, "What?" I summon the oldest of the boys from the waterborne shenanigans and ask him to go wake up his mom so she can keep an eye on things for a minute. I need to go take care of something. While he's bearding the dragon in her den, I crouch down and tell the little girl, "We need to go inside and find an adult, because it's not okay that you're in the pool all by yourself, okay? You didn't do anything wrong, but you've got some growing to do before you can be in the pool all by yourself, okay?" At this point, oldest homie has awoken the mom and she's now looking at me with a "what the crap" look on her face. I mouth "later" at her and then take the little girl's hand and bring her to the concierge desk of the hotel. I explain the situation with the little girl to the concierge, whose face goes from confusion to pained before giving the girl a smile and thanking me for bringing this to his attention. Concierge guy takes responsibility for the girl, and I go back out to the pool to explain what had happened to my friend. She was livid on the little girl's behalf, but mostly just wanted to resume her nap. Conveniently, at that time, middle homie had gotten out of the pool and was making faces at us while we were talking. I told friend to get some sleep, I'll watch the boys. Then middle homie got spear tackled back into the water because actions have consequences. Maybe 20 minutes to half an hour later, once I was starting to run out of steam, I sensed a disturbance in the force. A rather irate woman wearing a blouse that was inside out was dragging the little girl from before out to the pool area and demanding to know who told her she couldn't swim. The little girl, who was now silent with tears on her cheeks and a pathetically deflated water wing pointed at me. I was instructed to get my butt out of the pool and explain myself. Why on earth was it so hard to watch an extra child while she got some adult time to herself? Why did I insist on ruining her first chance to get away from it all in months? Her little girl is an angel and is no trouble to watch, blah blah blah. I explained that it wasn't a good idea to leave a little one in a pool with no adult supervision, pointing to a number of signs about no lifeguard on duty, all children must be accompanied by an adult, etc, etc. Inside Out lady is getting steadily more belligerent, explaining like I'm slow that her daughter knows how to swim and was wearing floaties and would have been fine. She's getting more and more in my face, trying to act like I'm just the worst for ruining everything. And then player 3 enters the fight. It's my friend, and she's fresh out of fluffs to give. She starts reading Inside Out lady the riot act, demanding to know how she could be so stupid and irresponsible, and how dare she try and act like I'm the bad guy here. Inside Out lady opens her mouth to reply and just gets steamrolled. Just look at your daughter, see what you've done? Appeared to finally get through to the woman because she looks down at her daughter, then back up to my friend. There's a flicker of shame on her face, and then it's all rage, and she swung. I'm not ashamed to admit that stepping between those two without backup seemed like a poor life choice. I stopped the boys before they could get caught in the crossfire, told them to take a step back, and when several hotel employees came out to break up the fight, I stepped in. I grabbed my friend and pulled her back, while two guys from the hotel grabbed the other woman. The combatants are separated and the police are called. Myself and my friend are back at our lounge chair with a large first aid kit the hotel staff gave us, while the boys hover and make sure mom's okay. She's sporting a magnificent shiner from that first punch, and a couple of other scrapes and bruises, but mostly seems livid that she got cold clocked like that. The police arrive and get the story from everyone even tangentially involved. We wind up being asked to provide contact information to the police. My friend declines a check over by an EMT saying she's fine, just sore. The story the Inside Out lady provided didn't match up at all with what the hotel cameras showed. And she got some shiny bracelets put on her before getting shoved in the back of a squad car. My friend said she would be delighted to press charges for assault and was told the police would be in touch. Once the police were satisfied, it was definitely time to retreat to the hotel room. I got dressed and left for the evening after making sure everybody was okay, and on the way out I asked one of the front desk folks what happened with the woman and her daughter. The woman was arrested and the girl's father came to get her. They couldn't give me any more information than that. Hope she's okay. Does anybody else just feel bad for the little girl after all this? Like, obviously I feel bad for OP's friend who ends up with a shiner that never should have happened. But this little girl just wanted to go swimming and have a good time by the pool. The mom neglected them, landed themselves in jail. I feel bad for that kid's upbringing. Our next story is from Defiant Lion 8183. Mother tries to force child to ride after multiple incidents. Consent starts from 3 years old at my job. I teach horse riding to kids and adults starting at age 3. That's when insurance will cover them, and it's fun to see little kids experiencing ponies for the first time. My boss gives me a head up that the client coming in is 5 years old and has ridden ponies, 10HH, for a while with an experienced horse person helping. But they have an issue as the kid is now terrified of ponies in general. So I meet the very polite kid and send her to play with the rocking horses in the waiting room while I find out from mom, entitled mother, what the deal is. She tells me that the kid's been stepped on, bitten, fallen off multiple times, the pony's bucked and bolted, and basically you name it, this kid has experienced it. I tell the mother I would give her 6 lessons to attempt to get the child comfortable around horses, but I did not guarantee I could get her on board. I had serious doubts. At this point in my career, 10 plus years, I've never had a kid I couldn't get on board. We start the session, and the mother straight away looks disgusted. Keep in mind, she watched her daughter be injured by the experienced horse friend's lack of knowledge for a year and did nothing. I start the session with the rocking horses. There was no way I was taking this kid to the real thing before giving her some power back and building some trust. We talk about approaching a pony, where they like scratches, where they don't like you to be or touch. We talked about safe zones and all that stuff. Took about 15 minutes of an hour session. Mother looks frustrated, but I ignore her. We move out to the real pony, who's 85 centimeters and a cute little fluff ball. She's also older than 30 years, so a quiet grandma who's half asleep. The kid freezes. So I sit her on a seat outside the yard and I go in. I move all around the pony and gentle pat her all over like a soft slap noise to show she isn't going to move or twitch. I then sit next to the pony's head and we start putting scrunchies in her mane and asking the kid to pick them out for me. It took until the last 10 minutes for the kid to pat the pony. We went on with slow progress like that for another 2 lessons and had gotten to the point that the pony was wearing a saddle and the child could stand on a mounting block beside her without freaking out. Cue stupid mother, just pick her up already. We've been here for 3 lessons and she still isn't on board. I say no. When she's ready, I'll ask her if she wants help to get on. But I will not force her. That's what got you into this mess in the first place. She says, I didn't have anything to do with her getting scared. I say, who lifted her on board every single time? Because I know she has never mounted a horse herself with her foot in the stirrup and pushing herself up and over. No one ever asked her if she wanted to get on. You just picked her up bodily. She says, but that's what everyone does, and kids don't know what they want anyway. You have to force them to try things. I say no you don't, and I refuse to traumatize this child more than she already is. I will never pick her up and put her on, but I will help her do it herself if she wants to. Your child does not trust you, the pony, or me, or any adult for that matter because of what's happened. We're trying to build that trust slowly and make her tolerate ponies again. It's not a quick fix, and what's happened to her would have broken many adult riders. She's 5. Now, this argument is happening in front of the kid, who was actually having a great session, and I thought it made a huge breakthrough. She started to shrink back, so I squatted down and told her, if you don't want to ride, no one will force you here. This is all about you, not mom. After another full session of me standing my ground and not letting the mother bully the situation, had to tell her a few times to stay quiet and not comment, I'm proud to say the child did get on board, and we worked for an hour just getting on and off. My back was killing me after because during dismount I bear hugged them from behind and swing their leg over and off, but we did it. In 6 months, that little girl was riding my Shetland 10HH on lead in the arena and loving it again. Unfortunately, COVID hit and lessons stopped for under 8s until the following spring. I hope that little girl didn't go ride somewhere else and get scared again, but it's been years now and I don't know. Now let me be honest, when it comes to leaving like reviews in places, I'm usually not one that actually goes out of my way to do so. But if I had a kid and they were taught by somebody like OP here, who clearly cares about how the kid feels, about doing things the right way and building them up the way they need, that's the kind of person I would do my best to get the word out about. People like OP are the ones who deserve to get promoted and reviewed and shared around, because the results of the first teacher definitely weren't the kid's fault. This next story is from Unknown Lifeform 13. Stranger wants free wedding planning because having kids is hard. It's 5 a.m. Roughly an hour ago, I got added to a group chat with multiple people I've never met. Still no idea who some of them are. The first message was welcoming a bridal party. I have a few friends getting married soon, but I'm not a part of any of their parties. I've been asked and have said no. Too much going on and my partner is high risk for COVID. I've been very careful on who I'm around. Everyone knows this. I haven't gone out and 99% of my friends are online only. This is not new either. As soon as I got invited and read the intro, I knew that it was going to be another crap storm. I keep getting volunteered for anything wedding related ever since I planned my best friend's wedding. Apparently I did a great job. People that don't know me keep messaging me expecting me to plan weddings. Most of them expect this for free. Of course, I've not done any of them. I'm not a wedding planner. I'm studying to be a mortician. I think those two things are very far away from each other. I don't respond to the group chat and try to sleep. My phone rings. The person who added me, who I've never been close with, was calling me. I deny the call and message her that I'm not interested in anything wedding related. I also leave the group chat. She tries calling numerous times. I block her. Again, I've never been close with her. Then my friend, her sister, messages me in all caps that I can't ignore a pregnant lady, going on and on about how hard it is to plan a wedding and take care of her kids. Both of them have children. I don't know how many. This friend I've known for less than 2 months, met online, never have met in person. I tell her I don't care that they have children and rip into her. She's constantly complaining about not having friends. I made sure she knew that this entitled behavior is why. I blocked her. Just because you're crazy and have kids does not mean I'll plan your wedding for free. What I don't understand is how they couldn't take no for an answer 4, 5, 6 times. OP leaves the group chat, they don't take your calls, they tell you no in text. How much of a no do you need before you finally just give up? And I mean, no offense to the friend or OP's decision making, but like at what point do you just cut off the friend altogether? Is it worth putting up being a friend with this person online if they're gonna apparently continue to sell you out to all these other people saying, hey, you should get in contact with my friend, they're gonna give you free wedding planning. And then when you're clearly not happy with it, they're not going to defend you, stick up for you, or try to shut it down or step in. In fact, not only are they not stepping in, they're actually going at bat for the friend. I guess it's their sister, right? I mean, bottom line, I think you've got to be crazy if you in your wildest dreams ever think that you could somehow get free wedding planning out of somebody just because they've done it for somebody else before. Expecting free anything out of a wedding scenario is more than wishful thinking. This next story is from Yanni in real life. My entitled mom wants to live with me and my boyfriend in our soon-to-be house. My mom, 54, and dad, 60, want us, me and my boyfriend, to buy their house because they're having a divorce. We were thrilled because we've been searching for a house for years now. Sadly, they're ending their relationships on bad terms. Now, my mom keeps pressuring me to let her live with us. My dad's just cool and tells us to think wisely. Backstory: me and my mom are from the Philippines and are now currently living at the Netherlands with my stepdad, who I'll call my dad. My mom has given me CPTSD and I'm also bipolar. She has physically and emotionally abused me for years. Her reasoning for this is that it's to discipline me. So, discipline means me wearing a full body cover type of clothes to hide my injuries because she hits me every day and left me alone for 3 years because she met someone online. I was 9. The last few years she's been depressed and does literally nothing other than watch YouTube on the couch. My dad has to do everything: cook food, walk with the dogs, etc. because my mom wouldn't lift a finger for him and everyone else, including the dogs. After 3 years, my dad's tired and completely done with this behavior. He tried to talk to her about this and she would just ignore it. He asked me and my boyfriend for advice. I told him that my mom wants to go back to the Philippines because she's happier there, and I also told him that he deserves better than her. So my dad eventually decided to divorce my mom. My dad is a very nice person, and he definitely deserves more than her. My dad's a truck driver who works 65 hours per week. He's tired and not happy. Now my mom's pressuring me that after we buy their house, that she must live with us for free and that we should kick my dad out because he isn't family. My boyfriend was not amused by this. She would treat us like slaves. Now, I don't know OP's situation. It might be really tough for OP to stand up to their mom, but I think for the sake of everybody, OP's mom should not be living with them. I wish them the best of luck. This next story is from Barbosa706. An entitled father asked me to give up my window seat for his child. Old story, but back in 2019, I went to Brazil to visit some relatives. On the way back, this stranger who was seated on the middle plane seats across from me with his child asked me if I could give up my window seat for his kid. I said, sorry, but no, I paid an extra $200 for this seat. I was expecting him to be understanding and mind his own business, but instead he just glared at me. In my head I said, okay, screw you too, and went back to listening to my music while looking out the window. Not even 5 minutes later, a flight attendant taps me on the shoulder, asking me if I could give up my seat for his kid. I pulled out my ticket and the receipt I got when I paid extra for the window seat and told her, no, I paid extra for the window seat. She said, okay, sorry to bother you, sir. I saw her walk back to him and say, no, for me. He glared at me one last time and that was that. I think he really thought he could get the flight attendant to take his side and force me out of my seat. I think this is one of those situations where if you do give up your seat, bless you for doing that to make a kid and a father's experience a little bit better. But at the same time, if you don't want to give up that seat, you are totally entitled to be there. You paid for that ticket. Sucks to suck for the father, honestly. If this happens again, maybe say, yeah, I'll move if you pay me the $200 extra I paid. And our final story of the day is from an anonymous poster. My entitled mother is trying to manipulate me to turn against my own friends. So, as many of you can read, I hope so because I know that the formatting may be terrible, the title is basically what the woman who gave birth to me is trying to do. It all started when I was a dumb 15-year-old who was in a bad crowd. And she was right that they were really bad. I didn't trust her and I regret that part. That was in 2019. But that doesn't prepare me for what she did next. 2 years after that incident, I reunited with a friend from kindergarten. My mom had pretty bad issues with her mom, and that was the main reason she split us kids up. She tried to fill my head with lies, such as me coming to her crying because of this friend, but it's all BS. I remember every single thing from when I was little, and I remember feeling like crap because of all the other kids, and not my friend. However, the part with my friend's mom being a crap person is true. She regularly treats my friend like she's subhuman while glorifying her older and younger siblings. My mom pulled a card that I was honestly unpleasantly surprised when she used it. She said my friend is a crap person, just like her mom. Then, very recently, she said she doesn't recall it. My mom said that my friend is manipulating me, telling me how to feel and that I bring out my frustrations out on her. She didn't mention my friend's mother more than once, and when she did, it had nothing to do with my friend. First of all, I'm frustrated because my mom is clearly lying to my face, and I can smell the poop from behind her teeth. Second of all, she changed the story. At first, my mom claimed that my friend is same as her mother, but then said she didn't recall that and changed the narrative that my friend's manipulative and that she didn't mention my friend's mom at all. She also did not hesitate to call my friend a stupid witch, but hesitated calling my friend's mother that. Note, she called my friend, a 17-year-old girl, a stupid witch, yet hesitated to call my friend's mother, who is close to my mom's age, that. Real mature of her, I must say. For additional context, I'm 18 and male, and I rarely get along with guys because they can't understand the fact that when I talk to anything that doesn't have a guy's junk, I don't work with my junk. Yes, there are decent guys, but either they're too judgmental of everything or chasing the bad crowd for popularity, which is not granted to them anyway. I mostly get along with girls because they're more open-minded, and that's why most of my friends are girls. My first friend was a girl, my current best friend is a girl. My mother continues holding the 2019 incident with my ex-best friend and other friends over my head, and compares my current friends to them. That is where she crossed the line for me, and I'm done with her crap. I was done with her even in elementary school, and I'm still done with her crap. She compares people who bully disabled people, take advantage of other people's empathy, and just take out their crap storm on you to people who are full of understanding, empathy, love, and support. If she finds terrible people comparable to people who brightened up my life like another freaking star in the sky, it would be obvious why I'm here. My mom also failed to realize one thing. I'm 18 and I'm technically an adult, despite 18, and can make my own choices without her if I want to. She forgot that since I'm 18, I'm like 85% of the time free to do whatever I want as long as I find a job while under her roof. And she thinks that she can forbid me to see my friends. She wants to turn me against my friends. When I was 16 and 17, I had an extreme fear of betrayal and rejection due to all of the things she put in my head. Certain girls helped me realize many things, and weren't like the rest of the community that is screwed in the butt by toxic masculinity. Say whatever you want, both men and women have emotions, ups and downs. You can't change that. If you try to, you're full of crap, and might need some fiber pretty fast. I know the girls more than their own parents do. To make what my mom said about me needing to watch my back 24/7 when I'm with my friends worse, they're mostly open books. You can guess what type of person they are, and most of the time you'd be correct. They all have their flaws. All people do. Nobody's flawless. However, my mom sees their flaws as my downfall in some twisted, delusional bubble she created for herself. She continues to spew nothing but lies about my current friends. The most hurtful thing to me, my mother said, was that she didn't want me to show any empathy to my friends. She basically told me directly to be a cold and disgusting person to my own friends, which is the opposite of what she taught me when I was below 10 years old. The woman who gave birth to me wants me to be a heartless monster, to go against my own values. She taught me to make my own values and follow them, and just listen to her like a dog. A lot of you may ask where my dad is in this, or my siblings. I have a dad and an older brother. But that's a story for another post as to why they aren't doing anything about it. The post as to what happened with my ex-friend group will come around if I ever get to writing it. There won't be an update on this unless something very big happens. I feel bad for OP in this situation because it sounds like their mom is just so in their head. Throughout their lives, kind of just twisting them up, messing them up. To me, it sounds like they definitely need to get some distance from their mom. Because let's be real, it doesn't really sound like the mom has any kind of the best interests in mind for OP. Whatever self-serving motivations are actually behind this. Maybe it's just she wants OP to push everybody away, so OP is just solely dependent and reliant upon their mom and want it to be that way for the rest of their lives. I don't know. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another Entitled Parent story that was crazier than any of the ones in this video, click on that left video. Or if you missed my latest video, click on the right. That said though, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.